So it's been a year and a month since the Pixel 6 was actually released, and in this video I'm going to share with you whether it's still worth it if you're supposed to buy the Pixel 6 in 2022 and beyond, and that's pretty much very cool. So the first thing I want to share with you is the body of the phone, which is a build, and the glass we have in front right here is Gorilla Glass Victus, and then with the back right here we have Gorilla Glass 6, which is something I think it's not bad. But initially when it was actually released, I was not really liking the back because you probably can just slip and then it might just shatter or something. But after I slapped it with this case I have right here, which I'm going to leave the link in my description in case you want to get one, you can just get it. And this case right here too, which is the Game Boy case too, you can just try it out too, and that is pretty much very cool. Afterwards, I've not really phased, or I've not really felt like I'm going to just break the back of this phone. You can have a glass protector too for the screen in case you want to just prevent it from just breaking in case accidentally you just slip it and all that. So this phone is IP68 and it's dust and water resistant and can stay up to 1.5 meters in water for 30 minutes, and that is basically very cool. And it's a 90 Hz phone. You can see the refresh rate when you're just scrolling through the phone. That is what we have right here. So one thing a lot of people was talking about, which was a talk of the time when this phone was released, was the fingerprint. Initially people were complaining they had problems when it was released. They thought their fingerprint scanner wasn't really responsive, but from the box when I bought this phone, it was actually okay for me till date. And when January update came through, the fingerprint scanner was sorted for a lot of people, and ever since the fingerprint scanner got sorted out, it's been very great. So I think the fingerprint scanner is not a problem. So in case maybe you want to just get it and then someone is actually telling you this phone has a fingerprint problem, that's an lies, it's been sorted, even though it's not very responsive like other smartphones which has the fingerprint scanner being very responsive, like the Pixel 3 XL which I have right here is very responsive when you try unlocking with your fingerprint at the back of it. So I think that is one thing, it has been sorted and a lot of people are really liking it now. So one thing I also like about this phone is it has a very good software. I mean, it came with Android 12, and Android 12 gave us a great performance until Android 13 was released this year to us. So this year too, with Android 13 coming through, I think it's very great, and everything, the performance of this phone is actually superb. Everything works perfectly, and fingerprint scanner got very great when Android 13 was actually released too, and that is basically very cool. So Google is actually doing a very great job, and day in day out they keep on bringing new features which is actually going to make us like our phone, and that is one thing I really like about Google Pixel phones. So one thing I also cherish so much trying to get a Pixel phone is you always get Android updates coming to you very early, and you can know if you are even hearing the news going on. You can see that Samsung users are now getting the Android 13, which was released to Google Pixel users late August, and that is pretty much very cool. So in case you want to just consider this phone because of the updates getting features and making it being optimized to the Android version, I won't lie to you, it's a phone you actually shouldn't miss, or you actually shouldn't say you're not gonna get. It's actually very great, so you can check it out. And right now, like I said, I'm running Android 13, and that is pretty much very cool. So with the battery life, after a year of using this phone, the battery life is not bad. It's very great. I won't lie to you. Even though I've had some problems when I update the phone, it needs to just optimize the phone for a while before the battery life is actually going to be intact. But when you check out right here my battery usage, you can see that it lasts very long. And when I charge this phone for a day, it's gonna be able to just last me in a day. Like, I mean, when I charge it once, it can last me in a day without me recharging it again. Even I'm a very heavy user, I check out my YouTube analytics, I check out my Twitter, my mails and all that, chat on WhatsApp, TikTok and all that. I do all sort of things everyone is gonna do, play games on my phone, but I just charge it once, and when I'm going to sleep, I charge it again. That is one thing I like about this phone. So the battery life of this phone is a very cool thing, which you guys need to really consider in case maybe you want to get a phone which is having a very good battery life too. I think the Pixel 6 is not one you can leave out of this competition or this category. If you are talking about Pixel phones and you're not talking about the camera, then I think maybe you've not said anything. So with the camera of this phone, I think it's not bad. It's one of the highest camera spec we have actually had on the Pixel phone. So it came with a dual camera, which is 50 megapixels for the rear camera and also 12 megapixel, and that is basically very cool. And it shoots video in 4K 60 frames and 30 frames per second, 1080p 60 frames and 30 frames per second. But I'll lie to you, the 4K 60 frame per second is one thing I really cherish so much about this phone. And the front facing camera, we have 8 megapixels and also video in 1080 30 frames per second. One thing I like about this phone when it came out of the box was this feature called speech enhancement, which is one of the cool things in case maybe you were a vlogger or something. We had speech enhancement for the front facing camera when it came out of the box, but Google actually brought us a new feature, which is the speech enhancement supporting the rear camera, but only capped to 1080p. And that is even very, very great because that speech enhancement feature alone can cut out every noise in the surroundings when you are recording a video, and is one thing you guys need to try. In case maybe you've not tried out, I'm actually going to leave a video in my description which is actually going to show you how this speech enhancement really works, and that is basically very cool. And if you are really bent on seeing more videos, you can check out my videos I shoot on my channel. Most of them from this year I've shot by the Pixel 6, and that is basically very cool. So this phone is actually very great in case maybe you want to buy a phone and then also gain something out of it, maybe start creating content on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube. You can just consider this phone. And this is one of the first Go Pixel phones which was being optimized to Snapchat. So most Android phones are not well optimized to Snapchat, but then this Pixel 6 phone is one of a kind. 6 and the 6 Pro was optimized to Snapchat, and it actually gives you very clear pictures and videos when you shoot on Snapchat. So that is one thing you're going to get when you buy this phone right here too, and that is basically very cool. So the spaces are 128 gigabytes and also 256 gigabytes, and the RAM is 8 gig, and that is basically very cool. So if you want to just get a Pixel 6, like I said, you should just get it. And in case you get it and you want to know how you're going to set up the phone and all that, I'm going to leave links in my description, and also how you're going to use this phone, I'm going to leave a link in my description which is actually going to guide you, or on the screen right here, so that you're going to be able to know however you're going to be able to use this phone. And in case you have any questions or anything about the Pixel 6 or any Pixel phone, or anything, any app you feel you want to download on your Pixel, just state in the comment section so that I'll share with you. And that is basically very cool. So if this video was very helpful, just like it up and also share with your friends. And I'm going to catch you in the next one. Peace.